Conference will now be recorded.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm John. This is the ANCAN High Risk Metastatic Advanced Prostate Cancer Group. I'll be moderating with help from Len, Paul, Jim. What other moderators do I have here? Alfredo always helps us out with information. I want to thank Bear and J&J, Myriad Genetics and Telix, Blue Earth Diagnostics and Foundation Medicine, and Novartis for helping to support us without requiring us to push their products in any way. We have no newcomers tonight, so I won't give the usual warnings about privacy. Before we actually get started, I would like our fearless leader to give a Thanksgiving welcome.
Well, thank you, Dr. John. And as always, it's a pleasure to be working with all of you, and especially all of the people who we never see or rarely see. That's around plus or minus 200 people who listen to the recording every week. So this is especially for our recording participants. And what I'd like to do is just thank you all for being part of ANCAN and the ANCAN family. There's a lot of moving parts. So beyond the participants, we have some amazing volunteers, probably over 100 volunteers, all of the moderators and more. We have an advisory board. You can see Dr. Elaney behind Joel, and we have a bunch more like Dr. Elaney, so giving of their time if we need their help on anything. We have a board of which David Muslin is here today, and I think Bill Franklin plans to join us a little bit later. He's doing double duty along with Dr. John, because we have our Veterans Speaking Freely meeting right after this. And as you'll see, we are putting out a short Thanksgiving message, which will arrive at everybody's table on Thanksgiving. We hope that you think about us and you value us as much as we value you on Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving. Oh, and I echo I echo the advice. Who was it who said, oh, Tony Fig, who told us to turn the scales back 10 pounds. That's a good idea.
You mind if I just jump in for a minute, Rick?
Go ahead, David, please.
So I sit on the board and I also run fundraising. So like Rick said, everybody's going to be receiving a letter, and very important, guys, even if it's just a little bit to support us. I don't have to tell you what it's done for every single man in this room. And if you could reach in your pocket and give us a little bit, we appreciate it. It's very important that we keep this organization strong, and we need to grow. There's more and more men starting to come in, and we need to grow our organization, and we need to keep it here for the next guys that are following us. So we all know the value that we get, and we appreciate everybody's input. But just remember us when it's time to give, and when you read this letter. So that's all I want to say. I just want to thank everybody. Go ahead.
No,
Rick.
thanks, David. But what I am going to say is we're not going to ask you for money in the Thanksgiving letter. We'll be asking you for money. Don't worry. We're working on that for our year-end campaign.
Got it. Well, you see what's on my mind. So thanks, everybody. Sorry,
But
Rick.
what we really want you to do at Thanksgiving is just think about what life might be like if there were no ANCAN, and then keep track of that for when David's letter arrives.
Thank you, guys. John McPhee, we're going to start off with you since we have no newbies today.
Okay. I guess the update is I just got my second Zolidix shot today, so I'm good for 3 months there. And I still I'm still doing apalutamide. And this kind of ties into what was in the write-up for this week's meeting, and that is the duration of this stuff. Having been on Lupron for a while and then off for 3 or 4 years, I tell you, I miss the testosterone a whole pile. Life was a lot better with it than without it. For me personally, I have no side effects from prostate cancer. All the side effects and problems in my life are from the treatment to keep prostate cancer away. And so once I got over the fact that it had come back and that it looked like I was going to be on Lupron for life as opposed to this fabulous 80% cure rate that I hear. Also, when I looked into it, was astounded that there's like a 40 to 60% reoccurrence rate, depending on who you talk to. And so anyhow, that's neither here nor there. So in the write-up, it talked about a meta-analyses for the duration of it. And what is the experience here, the real world experience, as opposed to scientific experience, I guess? That's one question, the duration. Second question would be, what about holidays? Because I guess if this stuff really works, there's only one way to find out if it has, and that's to go off it and hope your testosterone comes back and keep doing PSA testing and see what happens. And this could drag on for forever. And then to talk about side effects like fatigue and hot flashes and muscle loss or weakness. And I know exercise and more drugs, and there's side effects for that. Just like you get on the merry-go-round and it doesn't stop, right? We got a drug for that, but you won't like the other side effects of that one. But it's all kind of the high-level stuff, as opposed to exactly me in my case, and because we're all high-risk, recurrent, a really similar boat. That's it.
Yeah, well, we have 34 people here in the room with a lot of experience about this. Rick has his hand up, and he's going to fill you in about what may be a little bit of good news for high-risk people and long-term ADT. As far as breaks in treatment, we've got Len and many other people who have taken breaks in treatment. So let's gather some experiences, starting with Rick.
Yeah, John, I just want to clarify what was in the reminder this week. And I forget your situation, but I think that you're dealing with recurrence, isn't that right? That your disease has come back, right? So what was in the reminder is not pertinent to you at all. That meta study and the 13 studies that it examined is solely focused on people who are getting radiation treatment in some form or another as their initial treatment, and how much hormone therapy they should be doing with that treatment. So whilst it's really important to a lot of people in here, especially those people who are still in that early stage, like for me, I was in that early stage for 2.5 years. It's not relevant to where you are today. That's what I wanted to point out.
Okay.
Jim,
Yeah, John, anyway, I was treatment for 5 years, Lupron and abiraterone, and so I decided on a treatment holiday, and it's been like 40 months. Except the catch was I was on the Lupron 5 years, and they have given up the ghost. So testosterone did not return, but it's still okay. I don't mind it at all. Although I do, and I exercise essentially on a bicycle about 4 to 5 times a week, and it seems to help. So
Yeah, I suspect whether they're suppressed or they've gone away, it's the same end result, no testosterone, right?
no testosterone, so it's a sort of a pseudo ADT state, I view it as, which is actually a good thing, because provided it did return, I would have to probably go back on the Lupron, and I would prefer not to. Okay, if I do not have to, and it's been about 40 months now, and PSA is 0.13. So life is good.
Yeah.
Jim, just a question. You're off Lupron, but are you off abiraterone also? Are you totally off?
Absolutely. I am off everything.
So you're
And your
clean.
testosterone never returned at all, not even a bit?
Well, actually, it peaked at about 55, and it's in the 30s now. Okay, the last one was 33.
No one ever suggested any remedies for that.
No, nope. And I don't want to push that, because if I push it upwards, there's a chance that away she goes and off she runs. And then I'm right back in the Lupron. And well, actually the Lupron's going to be out because of the heart issues I have now. And with Orgovix plus something else probably. Although I don't know yet until it happens and the decision is made.
Jeff?
I was on Lupron for 6 years and on Orgovix for about 6 months when I took a holiday, because myself and my oncologist figured my testosterone would never come back. And it was galloping back, 80% the first couple of months and 25% every month after. And at 8 months, she said that the Stampede trial says don't go over 50 since I have BRCA2 and I should go back on it. So I've been on it for almost 8 years now, and I have no fatigue, never have had it. I run a track 1 mile twice a day, every day, and go to the gym 3 days a week. Yes, I have taken bone strengtheners for about 8 years. I've taken I've never really had many other issues with it. Abiraterone gave me issues, but not, and I'm on Nubequa as well. When I stopped Lupron, or it was Orgovix at that time, I still stayed on Nubequa, and my PSA stayed undetectable for that 8 months I was on it. But I know that if I were to drop that, my PSA would rise very quickly, because I went from 4 Zytiga pills to 3, and my PSA went from 0.2 to 1 in 16 days. So my BRCA2 really doesn't give me a break. But people are different. I'm always been real hyper and real active, so maybe that's why I never felt fatigue from it.
On the days that I am busy doing things, putting up Christmas lights, dragging leaves, I feel less fatigued than on the days when I do less. And so it seems counterintuitive that the days that I push through the fatigue, that I actually feel better than the days when I give into it. I see Jim cheering, so.
Yeah, it's a kind of peculiarity of our type of fatigue that when you most want to take a nap, it does the least good. Len?
Yeah, thanks, John. I have a question for Jim Marshall. Is there any difference in the way you feel now when you have a near castrate level of testosterone? Compare that to the level of testosterone that was lower, but not a lot lower, when you were on Lupron. So what I'm trying to say is it the testosterone that made you tired, the low T, or was it the drug? I mean, I would think that it would be the testosterone, because all the drug does is lower the testosterone and then you feel the effects. So clarify that for me.
I really can't, because in March of 2024, I had a triple bypass AFib, and I am down with an MET score of about 3.0. So I figure I'm at 1/3 speed because of the heart issues. So it's a little hard to ascertain that. I can walk maybe a block and I got to stop and I have to rest because of the heart and we're AFib. So I don't think I can compare that. But other than that, I can do other things.
Okay, then let me direct the question to anyone here who was on ADT and your T level didn't recover. Do you feel any better than you did when you were on ADT, or is it about the same with regard to energy level or even hot flashes?
Len, for me, it's about the same, and I'm going to address that when I get my turn. I think I'm sort of disillusioned. I expected much more, and I think because of my testosterone being where it is, I feel that's really what's causing me to feel the fatigue, the exhaustion, and all the other factors that I felt when I was on the medication. So I don't think there's much of a difference. I think it's all a function of testosterone.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jack.
I think my experience would go along with Jack's, Len. My T level recovered only into the 20s, and it wasn't enough to give me any kind of a boost of energy or recovery of my musculature or anything like that.
Okay, thanks.
Len, could you also tell John that there's hope for drug holidays where your T level actually might come back?
Well, yes, I can give you my personal experience, which might not necessarily extrapolate to you or anyone else, but 11 years ago, I was diagnosed with Gleason 9, 4+5, metastases in the pelvic lymph nodes, probably micrometastases elsewhere, but they didn't have sensitive scanning back then. So 11 years, more than half of that time I've been on drug holiday. I'm on drug holiday this entire year with a PSA of 0.05. So for me, drug holidays were a real blessing. You know, I was able to feel normal, whatever that means. But that is not everyone's experience. I understand that, but it could be yours.
And what has your testosterone level been, Len?
Well, throughout all of the, or I should say most of those 11 years, let's say the first 10 years, the T levels when I was on drug holiday ranged anywhere from 900 to 300. But in the last year, being on drug holiday, I should say, even on being on drug holiday, that my T levels were dropping, and they had reached a nadir. I hope it was a nadir of 79. Let's see. I think that was about 3 months ago. But then the latest T level was double that, 160. So I'm hoping that it's, you know, coming back. That was actually just a 6-week difference between the 79 and the 160. Now I have another PSA test, which I have to get done sometime in the next week. So we'll see what happens.
How does your medical oncologist explain that if you ask?
You know, it was the exact question I did ask. And he said, I wish I knew. But he said, I wish I knew, you know, why your T level was sinking while you were on drug holiday and why now it doubled in 6 weeks. He also said, I wish I knew how it is that you, as a high risk bone metastatic patient since 2019, can be on a drug holiday now for a year and still have a PSA that is nearly undetectable. So these are all mysteries, not just to us laymen, but to the specialists.
Thank you.
Julian?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Julian.
Yeah, my story is, you know, I've been off of all kinds of drugs since the 2021 and haven't had it. My PSA is still in the dirt, but I haven't had my testosterone has been bouncing around. Last time I checked it, it was about 159, but it's been like a wave and up and then down and up and down. So feeling otherwise, sometimes I don't have to get up and go. I have, but I do exercise every day for about an hour. That helps quite a bit.
Good, good. Harry, you just took your hand down. Do you still have something to bring in?
I don't know that it adds much. I was just going to chime in on Len's question. My testosterone recovered only to about 60, but I've noticed no difference at that level from when I was taking it plus abiraterone.
And Gary, you and me and a couple other guys last year had a discussion about whether we dared to supplement testosterone. Would you mind telling the group about that? Well,
the question is, if you've been undetectable for a while, is is it worth the gamble to take testosterone replacement therapy to try to artificially drive up your testosterone without awakening cancer cells that may be waiting for some new fuel? And my feeling is that at least where I am in the journey, it's not worth it for me. Like Jim Marshall, I don't want to set things in motion again. John is a little further along the line than me. I mean, I think the longer you go without any type of recurrence, the safer it is to try testosterone replacement therapy. But you also have to ask yourself, how important is it to you to have that? And I just encouraged John to weigh whether he thought it would make enough of a difference in his life to take that chance.
The four of us looked at the literature too, and we mostly found encouragement, actually, about possible safety of doing this. And my oncologist was willing. But even though we were not discouraged by the literature, all of us decided to leave well enough alone. We were too scared to risk it.
I would just interject, John. My oncologist, who's definitely conservative, so I wasn't surprised, but he was not willing. But as I say, John has been undetectable longer than I have.
Let me get to a couple of comments, and then we're going to move on. And we spend a lot of time on this topic because it's a really important topic that so many of us are concerned about. Paul, is that a hand up? Or are you just...
Yes. So with regard to testosterone levels, it's important, if you're really focused on data points, is to get the testosterone drawn preferentially the same time every time you have it drawn, which is 8 a.m., 9 a.m. So Len, I don't know if you had an afternoon and a morning, but the biological clock circadian rhythm on T says it's highest in the morning. So, that's an issue of up and down that may be explained. With regard to, as you get older, you have two things going against you: injury, i.e. the drugs you've been taking vis-a-vis your testicle, and age. So the older you are, the less likely is you will recover based on two factors, not only the medication. And then finally, the testosterone issue is really a puzzle. Some of you have heard of the BAT trial, BAT, which is bipolar androgen therapy, which I indeed tried 5 or 6 years ago. You give yourself IM testosterone and drive that T over 1,000, and then you let it fade, and then you repeat the drill with the idea that I'm going to use this analogy. If you're starving on a desert island and you then go in and have a major steak and potatoes meal, you're going to get sick and your stomach's going to rebel. And that might be what happens to the cancer cell when you just overload it with what it usually is exposed to. The idea too was to resensitize to one of the ARIs. when I had my testosterone in the thousands, my PSA, it went up, not enough to be worrisome. And the whole experiment didn't work out with regard to resensitization, but it shows how testosterone is a puzzle with regard to the exact levels that are productive or subjective, or I should say detractive to prostate cancer viability and growth. And I know that sounds heretical, but I thought I'd throw in some heresy.
Dr. Paul, were you castrate resistant at the time that you had the BAT?
Yes, castrate resistant and metastatic.
Okay.
And that was a requirement to enter the study.
So. Yeah.
Tim and David, and quickly, and then we're going to move on to the next guy. Tim? Tim, please unmute yourself. Tim might have stepped away. David, did you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to.
Hello.
I'm one of the guys. I'm one of the guys that.
Yeah. Are you able to hear me, John?
Oh, sorry, David. Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Are you able to hear me, John?
Yeah, you had a comment about this discussion.
Are you able to hear me, John?
Yes?
This is Tim here.
Does everybody hear
on
Tim?
the testosterone. The first easy question is, does Lupron and abiraterone cause blood in the bladder? That's the first question. And then I'm brand new to this, 2 months on ADT. They said 2 years for me. So 2 years time, will my testosterone go back up to 500 and everything be okay again?
It depends on a couple of factors, and Paul mentioned a couple of them. He said the degree of injury to the testicles, which make testosterone from being deprived of hormone stimulus, your age, and then it also depends on the length of time you've been on ADT, and you talked about 2 years, and then the last thing that I can think of is, what was your testosterone level before? Because if you started out with a testosterone of 125, you're not going to end up with a testosterone of 500. No.
I had 500 to begin with.
Yeah.
2 months ago, I had 500.
Okay. I'm going to get to you in a few minutes on any other questions you have, but right now, Tim,
On the blood in the bladder, is that a side effect?
No, that's a side effect of radiation.
I have had no radiation yet, and a week ago they said I had blood in the bladder.
Okay, we're going to get to you, and we're even going to have a urologist contribute to your answer. But I'm going to go on to Bruce right now, Tim, and then I'll get back to you. Yeah, Bruce, what do you got tonight?
Okay, my update is that I went to the Mayo Clinic. I had cryoablation of 4 lesions, and they are gone now. And my PSA is 0.10, less than 0.10. And I asked for information on my testosterone and was not given any. So that's where I am.
Did they determine that your lesions had disappeared on the basis of another PET scan or what?
There was, when I got up there on, it was, I believe it was November 1st, no, August 1st. Yes, I was given a PET and a CT scan, and they got it.
Good. This is really good. So you just gotta have to stay vigilant now. Are you still on Orgovix?
I asked the doctor about that. I was on Orgovic for a year, and he took me off of it.
Why?
He didn't think it was necessary. He didn't
Okay.
give me any. He did not give me a reason.
Okay. So you're not on any treatment now. You've just had focal treatment.
Right.
And what's your last PSA?
Less than 0.10.
Okay, and your scan is excellent. So how do people in the group feel about the decision to be on no medications at this particular time? Bruce was diagnosed something like 8 years ago, and he was a Gleason 5.4.
Yes.
Your total
It
time
was
on
November of
Orgovix.
2017. I had a PSA of 12
Yeah.
and a Gleason of 5+4.
Okay. So is it time for, this is really related to John's question too, is it time for a drug holiday? Now you started Orgovix a year ago, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Any comments?
Yeah, I mean, just one thing I want to point out or ask Bruce. Bruce, was your PSA measured before you had the cryoablation?
No.
No. So when was the last time your PSA was measured?
It was 2023, and I had a testosterone of about 300.
I mean, to be honest, it's beyond me how they can put you through these treatments, notwithstanding they see lesions, and they don't even measure your testosterone or your PSA before you start. I mean, you're proudly saying, well, my testosterone's down to insignificant, but it could have been insignificant before you had the surgery because you were on the ADT. So we don't know.
That's why I wanted them to do the testosterone.
Well, never mind the testosterone. What about the PSA?
Well, I do have one note, Rick. Bruce's PSA was 1.5 when he went to RT and Orgovix, and then it dropped to 0.2.
Well, I have similar notes too, but Bruce says he hasn't had a PSA since 23.
Jeez, yeah.
I mean, Bruce, did you just say because I do have notes that your PSA was 1.5 in June of 23, and then in May of 25, your PSA was 0.5. Are you sure your PSA wasn't getting measured?
I didn't get all that. Am I sure what?
I have notes that your PSA was 1.5 in June of 2023. And in May of 2025, it was 0.5 after you started the Orgovix. And you said that your PSA has not been measured since 23. So we're all a little confused here.
Yeah, well, so am I now.
Maybe it would be helpful for you to get a list of all your PSAs and share it with one of us. It makes it look like you're being monitored solely by imaging. And imaging all by itself without PSA seems inadequate and as you can tell from what Rick said, actually hard to believe. So why don't you do a little investigating and get back to either one of us or come back to group with some PSAs.
I can do it. I can't do it right now, but I can look up what my PSAs have been.
Okay. But we get the message that you had a very good response to cryotherapy. Your imaging is excellent. And you're off Orgovyx now after only 1 year, which is a low amount of time kind of for somebody with a 5+4 who's recurrent a couple of times. Let's see whether you're getting better PSA monitoring than we fear, okay?
How frequently should I get it monitored?
I think quarterly.
So that'd be once every 3 months.
That's what I would think.
All right. I am scheduled for a local examination by my urologist here, and I can certainly have the PSA run. I think I'm going to have the testosterone run too.
I think that'd be a great idea, yeah.
I have also requested that they put me on a PT regimen because the Orgovyx really raised hell with my joints.
Okay.
And I'm having trouble walking.
Okay. Get back to us on your urologist visit, whether you got a PSA and a testosterone,
Right.
and about your joint pain, because we might have to face ADT again if your PSA is up.
Or
Okay.
face some.
Yeah,
or face,
I'm very concerned about
Face
that.
something, right? Face something.
Face
yeah.
some type of hormone therapy.
Yeah,
Bruce,
I mean, maybe second generation. Yeah.
right.
Good point.
Bruce, here's the other thing. When are you next due to go to Mayo?
I am not scheduled to go there again.
Okay. So going forward, all of your PSAs will be run locally. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the PSAs that you had in the past, where were those done? Were they done at Mayo or were they done locally?
They were all done at Mayo.
Well, they're not truly comparable. So, what I was going to say was if you do have to go to Mayo, get a PSA locally and a PSA at Mayo at the same time. But you're telling us you don't need to go back to Mayo. You're never going to have another checkup at Mayo?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Are you never
You
going
asked
to
a question about Mayo?
John, do you want to phrase it? Because I don't think Bruce is hearing me very clearly.
Yeah, he doesn't hear me very well either. Bruce, Rick was wondering whether the lab at Mayo and the local lab are coming up with matching data. So he was saying, if you're going to go back to Mayo, we'll get 2 PSAs and compare. But you are not going back to Mayo. It sounds to me like all your follow-up is going to be with your local urologist.
Well, I can certainly get Mayo will be willing to send me what they call a kit. And I get the blood drawn here, and it gets FedEx to Mayo, and they run it.
Oh,
And then at the same time, I have my people here run it.
Right.
And so far, that has not produced a bitch from Social Security.
Okay. So two things. One is the next time that happens, and in fact, I would say even right now, the current PSA that just got read, was that from Mayo?
Yes.
Okay, go get a PSA locally within a few days of that one. And next time,
Okay.
get 2 PSAs, one from Mayo and one locally, so that you can synchronize them. That's the first thing. The second thing is, your local urologist is not the right person to run your care. You've been attending these groups long enough to know that that's our opinion. Local urologists are not really the right people for recurrent disease. So you need, and with the greatest of respect to Dr. Paul, you need a genitourinary medical oncologist on your team.
Locally.
It doesn't matter where they are. You need somebody on your team who is a GU medical oncologist. They could be local.
Okay.
They could be in Ann Arbor. They could be in Chicago. You're in Michigan, right?
Yes.
You know, so you could go to somebody in Chicago. You could go to somebody in Ann Arbor. But you need somebody whose specialty is handling recurrent disease.
Right. I will undertake that.
okay. We'll see you in a future group, and you can update us or write to us. I'm going to move on to Jack.
Thank you. All right, so I've got some new information. You know, this whole thing with testosterone and whether or not you want to enhance it, increase it, or whether you want to keep it low and non-detectable, and the risk of, you know, a reoccurrence or not. You know, this came forth rather drastically when I went to see my primary care doctor, and this was about 3 weeks ago, and I get a routine echocardiogram because 13 years ago I had an ablation for atrial fib, and I've been okay since then. However, my left atrium has been stable and relatively small up until most recently, since I've been on ADT, doublet ADT, and I just wasn't aware how drastically the remodeling of my left atrium occurs as a function of ADT. What that means is I've dilated up to 54 from 38 2.5 years ago when I first started the drug. This puts me at high risk for an incident, and I, with all due respect, Jim, I don't want to go in that direction. I don't want to end up with a bypass or, you know, an arrhythmia that's going to be intractable, or something congestive heart failure and end up in the hospital. So I decided with Dr. Belusic that the trade-off is you know, enhancing my testosterone may be worth it, because I think the price of not enhancing it and letting myself ride this out as long as possible with diminished testosterone and no PSA may put me more at risk for sudden death or an early death than gambling on reoccurrence and metastasis and dying that way. I spoke about it with my medical oncologist. He agrees, because so often we hear, you don't die of prostate cancer. Most of the time, you die of cardiovascular death. He said, that's right. And I said, it's iatrogenic usually. He says, that's right. So iatrogenic, for those who don't know, means induced by your treatment. So my testosterone has only gone up to 25.9 yesterday. And this is 8 months on a drug holiday. And that's not much. My 2.5 years ago, my testosterone was 765, pretty good for an old guy. And I've been on Orgovyx. So I was hoping, and he was hoping, that I'd start flying faster, but I'm not. So it could be I have had a lot of, as Dr. Paul said, damage to my testicles, or being old, and maybe they just don't activate that well, and may never. I may end up like you, John, and may be just a frustrating situation. And so what Dr. Belusic and I decided to do, and what I'm starting tomorrow morning, is I'm starting on Clomid. And nobody mentioned Clomid, clomiphene, usually used with women for fertility problems, but it is used off-label for men to enhance their testosterone, especially in the situation like I'm in. So I'm starting 12.5 milligrams every other day, which is low and slow, but for an 86-year-old man, that's appropriate. And it's pretty expensive stuff, but I'm willing to do it, and it's a little risky. There are a few side effects, but at this dosage, it's not much to worry about. The other thing I thought about is sex hormone binding globulin. You know, even if my testosterone does start to fly and go up there, or even if it was 765, you know, I felt so much better. But how much active free testosterone have I had at my age, when most people my age usually have a lot of sex hormone binding globulin, and the only effective testosterone is free testosterone or that bound to albumin. So you have to do that, and I have to test that, and I'm getting a baseline on that next week. And also, that's the way I'll be followed. So my FSH was 52.8. My LH was 13.2. The LH, that's a good sign that at least my pituitary is alive, and it's trying hard. My FSH is trying desperately to get the Sertoli cells, sperm cells, activated. It's getting a signal from my testicles that I don't have much viable sperm, and otherwise it wouldn't be so elevated. So I'm not feeling overly optimistic that this is going to work, but he feels it's a better chance and less risky than going with, you know, testosterone replacement. As far as this being adrenal trickle rather than pituitary, or the DHEA sulfate and all the other parameters of adrenal function are not pointing in the direction of adrenal trickle. So this is definitely my pituitary's attempting to pump out testosterone. The other thing that got me very concerned is that, you know, my lipid panel has been impeccable for years, all of it really beautiful. But then he did a highly fractionated lipid panel with something called ion mobility. And underneath this beautiful lipid panel, I saw these particles that are really, really deranged, that if you go ahead and do that, you may be surprised to find out, again, from everything I've researched, and I've been getting the most expensive version of ChatGPT and loving every bit of it. You can poo-poo it as much as you want. I think it's phenomenal. That all addressed that this is what androgen deprivation does to your lipids. This is what androgen deprivation does to your cardiac muscles. And this is what you're moving in that direction toward, you know, prematurely dying from a cardiac incident rather than metastatic prostate cancer. So I chose to gamble on my PSA being elevated and getting metastatic disease and letting it ride up to a certain point, hoping it's going to be more effective to reverse some of the remodeling that's been done on my left atrium and allow me to get some elasticity and some energy and some reserve that's going to help me feel better rather than feel life is not all that worth living just to stay alive. I guess being 86 makes it a little easier because at least I feel I'm not going to die young. But I just, you know, I'd like to make it 87. And I'd like to see what I can do. But this is where I am, and I'd like to get a little feedback from you all. Also, I had a discrepancy in my two laboratories. One showed my absolute neutrophilic count at 2.8 3 weeks ago, and yesterday at Sylvester it was 1.29. It's never been that low, so I have to repeat it. And I'm very concerned about that too. So any feedback I'd appreciate.
Well, my initial reaction is that you are, to my knowledge, the only person that we've had at ANCAN on clomiphene so far, and that you are the Daniel Boone of ANCAN. Rick knows differently, maybe, if there have been other people, and it is going to be fascinating to see whether you get side effects, what you get for a testosterone reaction, things like that. I will ask Paul to comment if he doesn't mind on this trial.
I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, well, Jack, you certainly outlined the pituitary gonadal axis in detail, and you've got it down pat. I learned a lot listening to you. I have no experience with clomiphene. I never used it for this indication, but I'm not sure why raising your T via clomiphene stimulation, it would be different than getting it via an injection. So was there...
Getting what, you mean testosterone via an injection?
Yes. Why not just go to the heart of the matter with testosterone? Is it because of a slow buildup, or to get your pituitary gonadal axis revved up the way it should be, as opposed to artificially get T from a shot?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's also less risky, according to the literature or whatever's out there, in terms of a reoccurrence or getting me to get in more trouble. Less inclined to get in trouble with the clomiphene rather than the testosterone replacement therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a gamble. I can always back off if it gets too sticky, I get too uncomfortable, but I'm willing to give it a shot because of the heart. And the lipid panel, those things frighten me. You know, as a physician, as a patient, whatever, all of it spooked me. And I was going to get a consultation. There are two cardio-oncologists. Alicia Morgans claims to be one, but she's not. And Anna Barrick in Fairfax is one. She was a cardiologist who went on to become a GU medical oncologist. And I'm going to call her and speak to her and see if I may have to fly up to Washington. I don't mind. I lived there for many years, but I'm going to see if she's willing to talk to me and get some feedback. Although I've exhausted ChatGPT, and it's so good. I mean, so educating.
Let us know how this doctor is, this cardio-oncologist. We could use a good cardio-oncologist in the East.
Belusic worked with her at NIH for years, and she's superb, according to him. And I trust him. And he's the one that came up with the clomiphene, the clomid.
It's a wild idea. Yeah, I asked Jack the same question a few weeks ago. Why not just take the shot? But Rick, did you have your hand up and then down again, or are you?
Well, I was going to put it up. So I was just going to say we do have a number of cardio-oncologists that we know quite well, some of whom are very good. And
in Canada and California, right? Do we have anybody in?
Yeah, and also in at Hutch, and I have to look and see. I think there's somebody. I think there's somebody at UPenn as well.
Mm. Okay.
But there's many of them now. There's many around the country, and they're pretty solid. The one that you mentioned, I don't know, but we're referring people more and more to cardio-oncologists.
It sure seems to be a very, very fast-growing subspecialty.
Necessary. And what Belusic said to me yesterday, he said, "Can you believe we don't have one here?" I said, "Well, why don't we get one? You know, why don't you convince Anna Barrick to come down to Miami, leave Washington? It's too cold up there."
And as far as that last absolute neutrophil count, I think it's an aberrant result. That's what I would think until you get a repeat.
I hope so. Very spooky. All my blood tests were wonderful there. Even the hemoglobin and white count, everything was so healthy and robust. And I said, "Boy, I'm recovering." And then yesterday I get my ANC back at 1.2, and I said, "What?" You know.
Dan, do you have a
hemoglobin was
comment?
lower too.
Yes. Jack, are you working out? What kind of exercise are you doing?
Yeah, I work out. I do all of that stuff. Yeah, but I can't really. I don't have the endurance and strength to really do what I mean. Geez, 2 years of no testosterone really wipes out your muscle strength and my stride. I mean, I used to be able to run. I can't run anymore. And I walk and I see all these women passing me and what the hell, dude? She's fast. No, I'm slow. Young women, of course.
That's from fatigue. I can't run because of the osteoporosis. I'm getting back to a slow run, but yours is different.
No, I'm not sure. It could be osteoporosis. I'm getting a DEXA scan in December, and so much pains and aches and fatigue and osteopenia. So I may have it. I'm gonna.
Okay.
So tomorrow's your first dose, Jack?
Yeah, in the morning. It's got a long half-life, 12.5 milligrams. I was splitting, comes in a 50, and you got to cut it in half and cut it in quarters. Woof. So I got 16 days ready to go. I hope I don't get too many side effects. I'd hate to waste it.
Now, when women take it, they don't take it long term, right?
I hope not.
No.
I hope it's just enough to give me a jump start.
Yeah. Any other comments on Jack's trial?
I'm just surprised nobody did it, John. I mean, Rick, nobody, in all the years you've been running this group, nobody ever did Clomid? Wow. I'm shocked. I figured somebody would chime in. All right. I'm the canary in the coal mine.
Yes, you are. Bob Young, you're next.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, just a quick update. By the way, I'm 73 years old, diagnosed in this past September, Gleason score of 4+5. I've had the MRI and I've had a intraperineal biopsy that indicated several spots of likely cancer. I've had a hard time getting the PET scan scheduled. It's finally scheduled for December 5th at one of the UCLA facilities. I'm a UCLA patient currently. I'm trying to find out from my doctor what kind of PET scan I'm getting, and I can't seem to get anybody to answer me. As I understand it, there are a number of different kinds of PET scan, and from what I read, the PSMA PET scan is supposed to be the most helpful to the doctors. Is that the case, or does it not matter that much?
I suggest if you use my chart or anything equivalent, go see how the order for you is worded. There's probably going to be a number of incomprehensible letters in there that if we decode them, it will tell us just what kind of PET scan you have ordered.
Okay, I'll try going
I'm just
through mine.
guessing, but sometimes you can tell by the coding. But if what we're looking for on your PET scan is any evidence of adenocarcinoma, PSMA positive adenocarcinoma metastases in your body, then yes, PSMA, one of the PSMA directed PET scans would be very appropriate and more sensitive than other types of PET scans.
Okay, that's what because I was looking at one video on one of the cancer support sites that was saying that, well, a number of the different PET scans, they all are fairly illustrative of metastasis, but that PSMA was perhaps the most sensitive one. So, and I also, per your suggestion last week, I sent off a request to UCLA to have slides sent to Dr. Epstein at Advanced Uropathology. So that's theoretically in the works. So that would be good to get a second opinion on that. So, and I'm going to be seeing going to get the PET scan on December 5th, see a radiological oncologist on December 10th, see a general oncologist on December 15th, and try to get some opinions about whether to go with surgery or radiation therapy plus hormone therapy, and to which might be best in my particular case. I have no bias at this point. I just want to get as much information as I can. So more information to come.
Okay, within a few weeks, you're going to have multiple consultations
Yes,
and imaging, and hopefully get yourself started on a plan.
some clarity. Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate your guys' help.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
we know you're going to see Kishan, who is one of the best in the country. You can't do a lot better than Kishan. I would put a lot of weight on what he tells you.
Good.
I would put more weight on what he tells you than Donin for sure.
Yeah. And I'm going to see
Who
Edwin.
is who is the genitourinary medical oncologist that you're going to see?
I'm going to see Edwin Posadas at Cedars Sinai.
Okay, so yeah, I mean he's solid too. I mean he's a good dog. So
yeah, and I'm hoping they'll give me some good information, some good advice, and if I need an additional, I know Rick, you sent me the name of another oncologist at UCLA that you guys have a lot of confidence in. If I need to see him, I'll go see him too.
Okay.
Thank you.
You were going to do a nomogram for us from MSKCC.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Okay. Nomogram. Got it.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thomas, I got you next.
Okay, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. Well, this is an update. I had my first shot of Prolia on November the 7th. So that's taken care of, and there was quite the runaround between my oncologist and the endocrinologist, but I finally settled on that because of their commentary and all that sort of thing. I'm glad I went to the endocrinologist. He was pretty good, although he made some I don't know, strange comments. And also,
wait, before you go off of the endocrinologist, were you recommended to be on any treatment for your bones?
Prolia.
Yeah, we discussed that.
Oh, did you say Prolia? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's how you started the conversation. I was still fishing around with my cards. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, Dr. Sokolova said she didn't want me to use Xgeva, and Dr. Vanek said he didn't think zoledronic acid was a good idea because of my age and kidneys and etc. And so that just left me with the Prolia, which is okay with me. I mean, I don't know what it's going to do, but I do have a follow-up appointment with him to check if there's any headway being made on that medication being effective. And Dr. Sokolova's objection to the Prolia, if you want to call it that, was that, you can't stop the Prolia, once you start it. Okay. We know that's not true, and she thought that might bother me, but it doesn't, because I know you can stop it.
Yeah,
Rick
tell
knows
her
the most about this stuff, so I was wondering if he'd comment. Rick?
Well, actually, Len, I defer to Len, but what I wanted to say to you was that you should make sure that Sokolova understands that you need to, if you want to retain the benefits of the denosumab, whether it's Prolia or whether it's Xgeva, because they're the same thing, it's just the amount, just the dose, then you lock it in with one shot of the zoledronic acid, the Zometa.
Right. Yeah.
And if she wants to know more than that, if she wants more information, just let us know, and we will find a way to get her that information.
Okay. Yes, she didn't object. She didn't object to the Prolia, except she thought that I might not like that it's a treatment for life. But I don't object to. I don't object to Prolia. Excuse me. And one thing,
Well,
Dr. Vanek.
I mean, Tom, what I don't understand is why she was opposed to the Xgeva. I mean, unless it's about, if she's opposed, she doesn't want you to have the Xgeva, and you'd be opposed to the Prolia because it's for life. Well, so's the Xgeva. All we're talking about here is dosage and severity. So it just sounds a little inconsistent to me. Len, what do you got to say about this?
Rick, I can't really add anything to what you said. I think you did a good job of outlining the whole thing. You can stop denosumab in whichever form, Prolia or Xgeva. You can stop it safely. And as Rick said, when you do stop it, you should get a single infusion of Zometa. And there was a clinical trial run that showed that single infusion of Zometa will lock in whatever gains you made for the years that you were on Prolia or Xgeva. Yeah, I'm not sure why she's in favor of Prolia rather than Xgeva. Maybe it's, I don't know how many bone mets did you have?
I think about 5 or so. Some pretty good ones. I mean, a large bone met in my sacrum, and some other in the ilium, but no other detectable by the PSA scan that I had. Okay, so she's not. And Len, you sort of misstated what I said. Excuse me, but she would not give a clear reason. I approached her about this via my chart messages, and she just had her her assistant call back and she just repeated my question to me. So I let that go, and I'm going to talk to her when I see her again in December about it as to exactly why she objected to that in my situation. So, and as far as the Prolia goes, all she said was, oh, Thomas might not like this because it's a treatment for life. And of course, because of the discussions in this group, especially from you, Len, I know that's not true. So I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm taking the Prolia. Dr. Vanek, the endocrinologist, is well aware that you can take the Prolia and stop by using the zoledronic acid. So that's what I'm going by. If Dr. Sokolova doesn't understand that, okay, so what? I'm using his advice on this. That's why I went to him. And Dr. Vanek, though, also said, this is really rich. I asked him about, I said, well, why shouldn't I be doing estradiol? And no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. And he told me, he wrote it up. He said, that is not a rational choice of treatment. And I thought about the group and the several people that are using estradiol, and it's a common thing, and Dr. Wasser Sug, who has talked to us about this and all of that. So, I'm not going to argue with the endocrinologist. He's okay, but I think I'm always going to find these kind of contradictions or disagreements, and I see no reason to rock the boat anymore right now. Anyway, So that's it as far as the bone treatment goes, unless you all have any questions for me about it.
I had a couple questions that are just basic things that I missed the first time around. Where do you live, Oregon?
I live in Washington State, in Vancouver, Washington, right across the river from Portland.
And how old are you?
I'm 79.
Okay, and Julian, you had your hand up. Is that about Thomas?
Yes, well, actually, Thomas and, well, I forgot who the other gentleman was, but did you, I may have missed it, did you have a bone density test?
Is that for Thomas?
Yes, for Thomas.
He's got osteoporosis.
Oh, he does have.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I had two. I had two of them in the early tests for us with osteopenia, and this latest one with, right on the. Dr. Vanek said, I said, well, I'm kind of on the border, right? I mean, this is not a big deal. He said, well, you're kind of right about that snapshot of this. He said, but it's going down. The number's going down. It's getting more negative. And he said that's why he's concerned, and that's why it's important to treat it now.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and also, I had from my primary care doctor, Dr. Bear at the Vancouver Clinic in Vancouver, Washington. I talked to her about my tachycardia that I've had. I've had this for many, many years. My sister has it. And she's she's being treated with flecainide or metoprolol, those drugs, Okay, and so this is kind of something that we've talked about. I've lived with this. I was, for years I have this tachycardia thing, and I deal with it. I have my way of dealing with it, So we decided recently, just as of it was just a week ago. Yeah, about a week ago, we're going to put a heart rate monitor on me, and I'm wearing that right now. And so a day or two after we put it on, they detected an AFib signature on the EKG, and so. I don't know. Do I have AFib? I guess I have AFib if they got a picture like that. I don't know. I don't know if it's reasonable to ask about the severity of it. It's AFib, so treat it. And that's what we're in the process of doing. I have an appointment on the 12th with a Vancouver clinic oncologist. She's, whatever. And I have an oncocardiologist appointment on December 15th at OHSU. So that's more or less where I stand on that,
You could have had AFib for just a minute and then not, or you could have chronic AFib. I guess they'll be able to tell when they look at the results.
Yeah, it was an AFib for 15 minutes. And I think it was on November the 19th.
Okay, yeah, you just had temporary paroxysmal AFib.
And these things have been happening to me, but not so frequently. They're more frequent now. They seem to be agitated by exercise. So I'm still going to the gym. I'm still doing cardio and monitoring my heart rate. Watching how I feel, and that's more or less how I'm dealing with it. And I'm taking, I'm making sure I'm taking blood thinners, the more supplement type, the mild types of things. And I have not really made up my mind about stents and statins and cardioablation, and all that kind of thing. I kind of want to just watch this, and I don't want to make light of it, but I don't want to jump the gun into any other excess treatments if I don't have to do that.
That sounds a little worrisome when you said you were taking blood thinners, the minor type. Can you explain? Do you mean aspirin?
Well, I guess I've taken an aspirin once in a while. I don't rely on aspirin, but I have garlic supplements. You're always told don't take garlic if you're going to have surgery. So I thought anything that might make my blood a little bit thinner, before we resolve this whole thing, because I don't have any prescription medications or anything like that. I wanted to talk to a cardiologist, and especially the oncocardiologist who has more of an understanding of the onco part of this, the oncological aspect of this, and what effect these drugs might be having my heart. Yeah, and I hear you guys about, you know, the numbers are like 18 to 20% of people die from their cancer, from their advanced cancers, and you know, like 20 to 25% die of cardiac problems. So I want to keep an eye on it, and you know, I think I'm gonna be following that up soon.
Okay, that's good. Just to keep your doctors informed of any supplements, because they, as you know, can affect bleeding time. I do have a hand up. It's Jeff Markey.
Yeah, I've just wanted to mention a couple of things about AFib. I had a Holter monitor a few months ago, and also AFib showed up on there. But when I was on abiraterone, I had 4 events of AFib. One of them landed me in the hospital for 4 days. On the 3rd day, they gave me metoprolol in the afternoon, and within an hour, my AFib went away. Got a cardiology friend who was retired who said that whenever he feels it starting to come on, he takes metoprolol, and it stops it. And since I've been taking it, I've not had any events.
Oh,
it's a great drug for that particular problem. You might want to talk to your doctor about that. Like I said, a cardiologist recommended it to me.
Yeah.
Because he uses it personally. And I you know, when I had my Holter monitor, they had some short-term AFibs they noticed, but very, you know, not long at all. Whereas 15 minutes, are you on, you know, you want to talk to your doctors about being on blood thinner, because the one thing that AFib events can cause is a stroke. And you
right.
want to have a stroke when you have a 15-minute possibility of an AFib event. So that's another thing to talk to your doctor about. I've been on blood thinner for about 5 years now, and the whole time I was having that 4-day event, I was on blood thinner, and that almost definitely prevented a stroke. So just some things to think about.
Okay, and is that the statin drugs? Is that what you're talking about? Is that what those are, blood thinners?
I thought metoprolol was a beta blocker, but I'm not.
Metoprolol is a beta blocker. It slows down your heart rate.
Prescription drug. And what about flecainide? Is that a milder form?
No idea.
No,
Flecainide is used to stop atrial fib if you have an attack. It's called pill in the pocket.
Yeah, I've had, they've cardioverted me 4 times to stop it, or 3 times. They couldn't do it this one time. I had it for 4 days because the doctor would give me an antibiotic that ruins your electrical system, stops it.
If you've been cardioverted 4 times, you definitely have atrial fib, and you should see an electrophysiologist, get a complete diagnostic workup, and see what you need to be on. You need to be on medication, and you need to be on.
It was abiraterone that caused it. Once I stopped taking abiraterone, I've not had the problem.
Well, that's the kind of talk I want to hear from this oncocardiologist, if he could reflect on the medications that I'm on, and if that has aggravated this situation, which I said has gone on. I mean, I've had it for many years, you know, and I've always just dealt with it myself. I could stop it. I could stop the fibrillation. But I don't know if I'm sure you've heard of this Valsalva maneuver, and that's worked. I mean,
it can cause a stroke, and that's what you need to worry about.
That's right. I agree.
All right.
I agree.
Listen, don't put your head in the sand with this one. I've had it, and I've dealt with it, and I did the garlic, and I did the supplements and all the other things that you know, so I could avoid taking Eliquis and aspirin and all the other. And eventually, when you get worked up and you get well understood and diagnosed, then you'll be prescribed the appropriate thing to take, rather than try and do this thing holistically on your own.
Okay, Jack, listen, I thank you very much for that opinion. I really do respect what you just said to me. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
I want to get to Barry, and then Tim will finally, thank you for your patience, get to you. Barry, are you still here?
I am still here.
Oh, there you go. Okay. What's up?
So let's see, round 4 PSA dropped to 0.12. round 5, it stayed at 0.13. I don't have a result from round 6 yet. And I go to Mayo in the middle of December. But I'm hoping my local doc will pull a PSA test for me next week so I can get a result on round 6. But does that indicate that I'm going to bottom out around the 0.1213 range?
Could you share what you mean by round 6 and round 5?
He's on docetaxel, Jack.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, docetaxel, abiraterone, and Lupron. Triplet therapy.
So where are you going to bottom out? I don't know. If you bottom out in a few months at below 0.2, I think it would be an excellent goal, thing. You're already below 0.2. I think you're responding nicely. Where will you bottom out? Some of these drugs are fast and some of them are slow. I don't know. Anyone want to hazard a guess about where Barry will bottom out? His docetaxel started in late July. The ADT started in June. And when did the abiraterone start?
Same time. That started at
Late
the same time
June.
as my Lupron.
I mean,
Okay,
John,
July, August, September, October, November, 5 months now.
yeah, John, I'm not so sure where Barry bottoms out is as important as to recognize that he's already gotten down as low as 0.12, and that's an excellent result.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you get less than 0.1, it would be phenomenal. We're happy to see less than 0.1. Back in the old days, as Dr. Paul remembers, before we had these fancy tests, if you got under 0.1, you were doing great. So we would love to see you get under 0.1, and you're so close to that right now. I mean, back in those old days, we just say you were 0.1, at 0.12. So you're getting close, and I think the treatment is successful. Could it be more successful? Yes. But I think you're doing great, Barry. I just want to encourage you.
Okay. Well, I'm
Thank you.
looking forward
Thank you,
to
Rick.
going to Mayo and meeting with Dr. Heath and figuring out what stage 2 looks like.
Yes, sir. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. When are you going to see Dr. Heath?
The middle of December.
Okay, well, we'll talk to you before then, and we'll help you with a list of questions and what have you. But stay with the program right now.
I'm doing it. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate all the info.
When's number 6? Did you say when number 6 was?
I finished that on that round started on November 7th. So 21 days after that is 4 days from now.
Oh, so how many are you doing in total?
6.
6. So that's what I wanted to know. When's the last one coming up?
I'm done.
Oh, you're done. You're done. Okay, yeah. You're done. That's what I wasn't sure if you still had 6 to do or you've done 6. So you're done with 6. Okay.
Yeah, thank the baby Jesus.
Yes. And are you still standing?
I'm still standing.
All right. Well, you can't keep a good man down, you know. So
thank you.
So that is great. How are you feeling otherwise? I mean, how's your strength, your fatigue, and everything else?
Sleep,
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm feeling as good the last 3 days as I have in 5 months. And fatigue is still there. You know, the Lupron still raises the hell that it does. But overall, my appetite has come back. The chalky taste of food has gone away. So good. I dropped 12 pounds. But the good news is that I put about 10 of it back on. and I'm tickled pink because I can eat again. I'm a foodie.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I was going to say you dropped 12 pounds. It's just in time for Thanksgiving. You're in good shape. But now, you know, maybe. Well, it's great. Barry, we're really pleased to hear that you're making this progress. This is great. Seriously.
And
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rick, for pulling us out of the weeds there before we got lost. Next up, I have Tim. Do you want to catch us up, Tim, on...
And Dr. John, did David Muslin want some time for himself on his own stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
After Tim, I've got John and
So
David.
let me send Tim. Tim, we keep muting you because we get a lot of noise. So I'm sending you an unmute request, and you go ahead and unmute, and we should be able to hear you. Can we hear you, Tim? It's a long way from Anchorage.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Tell us if you're started on any treatment yet and what's going on.
Yeah, I'm about 2 months, 2 months on Lupron and abiraterone, and last week I had a urine test, and the doctor said there's a small bit of water, a small bit of blood in your bladder. So I'm not going to pay a lot of attention to that. But I started, the PSA came all the way down from 22. 1 month it was at 1.8, and the second month it was 0.1. It's staying at 0.1. I had a visit with the radiation doctor, and he's suggesting now that for the Gleason 9 is strong cancer, he says. And he says brachytherapy is the strongest radiation therapy down there. So he thinks I should go down to Seattle and put in 90 golden seeds on my prostate forever, and then come back to Fairbanks and do 25 treatments. What do you think of going that route? No decisions made on nothing. I use the ADT to buy me time.
Okay.
Surgery is not ruled out.
Okay, Tim. So the gold standard back in the day to treat what your local guy is suggesting was brachytherapy seeds, although not as many as 90, and I doubt you would need as many as 90. 90 is probably what they would have given you had you not been having the extra radiation, or somewhere probably closer to 70, 75. Dr. Paul will correct me on that, but
the name of the doctor is Eulau in Seattle, ELAU.
Yeah, so today we think it's better to go with SBRT to the gland and to the prostate gland, and 20 to 25 IMRT treatments plus the hormone therapy that you're getting. Now, what is your stage of prostate cancer? Do you know, are you T3 or do you have lesions outside of the prostate?
From what I think I can remember, it was graded 3C, and I think it's T2, but I can't remember.
Okay, so if you are T3C, then that would be an appropriate treatment. But you don't need if it were me, and I had that treatment, okay? I had seeds and IMRT and hormone therapy. And if you're T3C, they would add, or T3B, they would add abiraterone to that today, which is what you're getting, Abby. Now, I would not be doing it today with the seeds I would be doing it with the SBRT, which is the highly focused radiation. Some people do it with 4. Dr. Roach in San Francisco does it with 2 because he can and he thinks it's sufficient. But the combination of SBRT, which is the focused radiation, plus the less focused radiation, plus the hormone therapy is probably a very good treatment plan for you to consider. And I say that because essentially that's what I got.
Interesting. So is SBRT a special machine?
Yes.
And you would need a couple of sessions of SBRT?
Yes.
Yeah, 4 or 2, right?
Yeah, 2 to 4 of SBRT, and then 20 to 25 sessions of the IMRT, which is the less intense.
Okay.
But
And
your doctor, your local doctor is sort of back in the dark ages a bit, and also I don't think he understands that when you give the seeds, and you could still get the seeds, but they don't think it's as good. Or you can get, depending on how much cancer, you can get what they call high dose brachytherapy, which is not leaving the seeds inside, which is pulling those seeds out, pulling the radiation out. They insert a radioactive rod and they pull that radioactive rod out. So
they put it in and take it back out.
That's right. They put it in and then they withdraw it, and they usually will do that once, possibly twice, but usually in a treatment like yours, they would do it once. Now I have seeds still left inside me, and also I didn't have enough bulk in terms of cancer in my prostate for them to use the rods, the high dose. But these are all good alternatives. But 90 seeds is really not something that you ever would give in a situation like yours. You might give it if somebody had much less intense cancer. If they were, say, a 3+4 and they had a lot of cancer, something like that.
What does SBRT stand for?
Stereotactic body radiation therapy. Stereotactic body radiation therapy.
Okay. And that is something that can be done in place of brachytherapy?
Yes.
And you think that is much more recommended than brachytherapy, huh?
Well, it's less, it's a lot less intense.
Invasive.
It's less invasive. Thank you, Tim. Yeah, it's less invasive. And one of the best radiation oncologists in the world thinks that it's a better option today than doing the seeds. So, and not many people do seeds now. If they do brachytherapy, they do it with these rods that they push in and pull out. So that makes a big difference. So yeah, I mean, I would say that you need to get a really good consult with an experienced radiation oncologist who can treat you. I mean, you may be able to get somebody to design this and maybe do the SBRT and then design the program for you so you can get the IMRT, the less intensive radiation, locally in Fairbanks.
Comments, anybody? I got a hand up from John M. And John, you're up next anyway, so why don't you take that all the way into your own question?
Good. Tim, you and I talked a little bit this week. I was diagnosed December 27th. I wanted an aggressive treatment. I went with, on the recommendation of my radiologist, I went with brachytherapy temporary seeds, or the rods, as Rick said. I went with Orgovyx and abiraterone, and I went with 25 sessions of radiation. And it's pretty aggressive, but it's worked. It's been my cancer's been well controlled so far, and I'm 9 months into 2 years worth of ADT. And so and UCLA, by the way, UCLA has a great brachytherapy practice, if you're thinking about that. So that's my 2 cents on that. I'll just go briefly on my comment in my situation. First of all, I always want to say thank you to every single person on this call. I consider you all heroes, and to be on this call and listen to you and learn from you has just been a great privilege. So thank you. I just want to say I'm 9 months into it. I've really got to work out more. And my attitude has been going up and down and up and down. I know you know what this means, but I found that exercise is the great rebalancer for a lot of the attitudinal stuff. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing fine. ADT is a load, but I'm on track. I'm on track, and I just want to say exercise is a really good thing. So, and again, just thank you to everybody. I appreciate it. That's it.
Great, John. Thank you for the thank you, and thanks for the update. Your PSA was undetectable last time we talked. I take it still the case?
Yes, November 1st, it was also undetectable.
Great. Julian, did you have you had your hand up, Julian. I don't know if it was about John or.
It was about Tim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had the brachytherapy. My Gleason score was 4+5 after Dr. Epstein reviewed it, and I was on ADT. And after I had the brachytherapy, I had about 23 sessions of IMRT, and I'm still here.
Okay, thank you. David, can we move on to you?
I had a quick question for John there.
Who was that?
Bob here.
Oh, yes,
Okay,
Bob,
Bob.
go ahead.
Yeah, John, I was just curious, what was your Gleason score that led
My
you into
Gleason
this?
score, I had 4 cores of Gleason 8 and 1 core of Gleason 7.
Okay. All right, and you said you recommended UCLA. You're in Chicago, though, so you came out.
I'm in
to LA.
Chicago, but in studying brachytherapy, I learned that UCLA has a really fine brachytherapy practice, but I did it here in Chicago.
I see. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yep.
David.
Okay, I'll go next. Dogs are barking. Gotta be an animal out there. Okay.
They waited
so
until your turn to start barking.
Yeah, no, exactly. I just want to bring everybody up to date. I took a drug holiday for about 1.5 years that ended when I started on Nubeqa in June of 25, June of this year. My PSA rose as high as 0.7 towards the end. Got on Nubeqa monotherapy, 1,200 milligrams a day, and my PSA level dropped to 0.2, in July of 25, September of 25.13, October of 25.1, and then yesterday it was 0.09. I spoke to Dr. Russell Schmulewitz about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. He says he's happy with the way it's going down, but he wished it came down to 0, which it does not. He recommends, and this
I'm
is where I
back
wanted
up
to,
again.
this,
I'm
this
back up
where,
again. I don't know if you can hear me.
this is where what the input that I wanted was. He suggests January 1st, go back on a drug holiday. He said something's brewing somewhere, and let's get off the Nubeca. And he's very cautious about watching it. And let's see what comes back. If something comes back, we can hit it. So that's what he's suggesting. And by the way, we had 2 spots on my ribs, which we hit with SBRT, and they're gone. So that's his suggestion. Just wanted to get some input. And by the way, we were talking about T levels before. My T level, once I got off, my T level popped right back up to 550, 600, for whatever that's worth for everybody. So it goes up for some and not for others. So just wanted to get some input on
How do you
Schmulwitz's
feel, David? How do you
suggestion.
feel with that T level? How do you feel?
I feel horny as hell. No, I feel great. My
That's
energy
great,
is
right?
good. My energy is good, and the old David's back.
He has a
Did you
girl
check?
in every port.
Yeah, I wish.
David,
I
just for
wish.
academic reasons, could you check your sex hormone binding globulin and how much is free testosterone? Just for academic reasons, can you do that? I'd like to understand that. You feel
Sure.
so good, and I'm just wondering how much free testosterone is available.
It doesn't in a PSA. It doesn't show on a test, does it? That's a separate
All right,
test.
so that's a separate test. Either your guy did it, Schmulewitz either did it or he didn't do it. You
Got
got to
it.
ask for it. You got to ask for it. It's just a curiosity I would have. It's you feel so good, you're robust, you have a good libido, so I think you must have a lot of operating free testosterone, which is wonderful. Lucky you, young man.
Yeah, I'm only 71. So
young
can't
enough,
believe-
very young.
yeah.
So what do people think of this idea of David being on or off? What particular drug is being considered?
I'm on Nubeca monotherapy.
Yeah. Would people go off under these circumstances or keep on going?
He suggests get off January 1st because the PSA never came down to 0. So he
Yeah.
wants to give it a chance to come back up to see where it is. Maybe we'll find it and blast it with SBRT. I'm assuming it's going to hit my bones in because that's the only place I've had metastases, and just watch it closely.
Glenn, Rick, anybody?
Yeah, thanks, John. I wanted to ask David, weren't you feeling fatigue from the monotherapy with darolutamide along with me and a few other people after a while?
I did Len, and then it kind of dissipated.
Oh. So you were on full dose.
I was on full dose. When I was feeling fatigue, I dropped maybe for a month down to 600. And then when I started feeling better, I kicked it back up to 1200. And I've been on it and not feeling that much fatigue.
Good. Good to know.
So what I wanted to say is that the strategy of the monotherapy is kind of interesting here because David's testosterone is still pretty high. What did you say your testosterone was right now, David?
550.
550. So we've driven his PSA down by giving him an ARSI. but we haven't touched his testosterone, and his testosterone doesn't seem to be impacting the PSA too much. I mean, his PSA is still coming down, but this last PSMA test suggests that there is still something there. So, you know, what Dr. Shmulewitz is saying is, okay, let's get you off of it again, and let's really try and find, and then let's go at this again. It's the old, this is the metastatic directed therapy, which we used to call whack-a-mole. And if you guys read the reminder this week, there was a perfect trial for David in there. In fact, David, I would be asking Shmulewitz whether you might be a candidate for that 2 lots of Pluvicto and then a zap again, because this is designed for people like David.
He actually mentioned that, Rick.
Oh,
He
that
said
looks like a very nice room you've got there, Luther.
He actually suggested that. He said we may hit you with some Pluvicto. Let's see what happens.
Now, did you read my trial? Were you ready for him? You said, did you say to him, oh, yes, that has to be the old MTD trial that I just heard about?
Not yet, but I will.
Well, we're keeping you abreast of all of that. Now, that MTD trial came out of UCLA. So Kishan was I think Kishan was the final author on that one. But read it, because it's in understandable language, and we can talk about it. But yes, it would appear that if you are in the realm of metastatic directed therapy, meaning just a few lesions, that adding Pluvicto to the metastatic therapy can be very effective and keep you off hormone therapy.
Love it. Okay, good.
Rick, will they give you that if you're still hormone sensitive?
Well, the question is, would they give it to? This is really designed for people, as I understand it, who have just been diagnosed as recurrent. So would they do it for somebody like David, who's well into this? He's been through a couple of times before. I don't know. If we could find a way to get David a couple of shots of Pluvicto, he can do it himself, because the drug's been approved. It's just that it hasn't been approved by insurance for this use at this point in time. But we know the drug's safe, and we know what the dosages are from the trial.
John G.
I just had a question. How high will they let your PSA run up before they start looking for it, or do the PSMA test, or how are they going to look for the Mets? And the Pluvicto sounds like a good idea to me too.
So as soon as it started going up, John, I was getting PSMA pylarify PSMA tests every 3 months, and for the first 2, roughly, they came up negative, and then the third one came up positive, and he saw the 2 Mets on the ribs. Waited again 3 months, did it again, and we saw 2, confirmed the 2 spots and hit it with SBRT.
So they'll just take you off the ADT and wait to see what they can see, and they'll keep testing on the PSMA. Makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
But if the PSMA, if the PET scan is currently completely negative, what is the Pluvicto even going to target?
Agree.
Well, but the point, David, is that Dr. John, is that they're using this Pluvicto in a sense as prophylactic.
Yeah.
Now you say, well, it's not really prophylactic because we know you've got 1 Met, 2 Mets, 3 Mets in the trial. But the concept is that if we do it now, it would be prophylactic for David, and the SBRT would be therapeutic. Go ahead, David.
One of the things that we were discussed is when my PSA was rising and the PSMA tests were negative, you say it could be microscopic. May not be able to see it. May not be 1 Met.
Right.
Then the meds popped up, but that's why the Pluvicto, what you're suggesting,
right,
could be very prophylactic and can knock out anything that's there that you can't see. I kind of like that idea.
Right. I mean, essentially, what we're saying is that this new trial, this MTD trial, let me just pull it up in front of me. But this MTD trial that was in the November 22nd reminder is, as I called it, this wasn't in the trial, but I called it a doublet for MTD, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is using Pluvicto, which is a systemic treatment, with SBRT, which is a directed treatment. So combining the systemic radiation with the directed radiation gives you a better result. And the way they did it before they put anybody on hormone therapy of any type. And what they found was they could get 18 months before they're putting you on your first round of hormone therapy. Now, David's in a different situation. David has already had the surgery when the recurrence, and he's been on and he's been off. But in theory, if it works for somebody at that point, it might work for somebody like David. And Dr. Shmulewitz is on it already. He already said, maybe we can combine it with Pluvicto. Now what I want to know is, how's he going to figure out to do that? That's going to be the real smart thing, because it ain't easy to figure out. Now you can go overseas and you can get, for $40,000 a shot, you can get Pluvicto a couple of times. So you could do it privately, but maybe there's a trial going on, and maybe that's what Shmulewitz is looking at, et cetera, et cetera.
Got it. Okay. Interesting. So just wanted to bring it up so everybody can follow and learn, including me. So thank you all.
You like the idea of something a little more active, like a couple of Pluvicto shots, than something more passive, like stopping your medications and when the lion comes out of the jungle shooting them.
No, I think I would wait, John, and just kind of do what he suggests, and let's see what happens.
Okay.
Kind of see what comes
Hey,
out.
David,
If it comes out again and it doesn't go, we can't get it back down to, if I'm stuck at 0.9, then I might consider doing a Pluvicto. If there's two more, if this is a repeat again, the next round, where say I get off and in 6 months I have 2 Mets on some ribs, maybe at that point I would blast the ribs and do the Pluvicto.
Okay.
That was my thought process.
Well, we sure have come up with a lot of really fascinating questions tonight.
Mm-hmm.
People are leaving with good wishes for Thanksgiving. We're about out of time, and I want to thank everybody for coming. Paul, do you want to have a last word?
Yes, just listening to the conversation, the idea of, we'll say, stimulating a appearance or encouraging the appearance of a metastases before giving Pluvicto speaks to the idea that if you don't have any imaging, you are presuming that what the radiation, the detection issue is less sensitive than the treatment avidity of the Pluvicto, the lutetium, because I mean
Exactly.
we're really cutting micromillimeters here. If you can't see it, maybe your sensitivity isn't as good as the therapeutic delivery, but that to me is a bit of a jump. I mean, you're delivering a very expensive therapy that long term, you want to be sure you're hitting something that you know is there, in my opinion. But there you go. It's something to think about.
Yeah, but can I just
Rick or
respond
Reba?
to you, Dr. Paul? So I think we're sort of we got ourselves kind of mixed up. So I think that what Dr. Shmulewicz is saying is just let David's let David's PSA come back up. Let's see if we can find where the lesions are on a regular PSMA and shoot those lesions.
Okay.
I then jumped in and said, well, maybe we can adapt this new MTD trial that they're doing. Now, at the same time, Shmulewicz has said, maybe there's something that we can do that uses Pluvicto. So where this Pluvicto is going is to be used at an earlier time. And this new study that Kishan just pushed out in JAMA last week is saying, if we see a guy who comes into us and he's never had any treatment, but he has recurrence, or he's de novo metastatic and he's oligo, what about, before we put him on hormone therapy, giving him a couple of shots of Pluvicto and then shooting at these Mets? So this is not where David's at. So, but what we're sort of swimming around in here is, well, how can we combine treatments and maybe keep men off of hormone therapy for a lot longer?
Yep.
And whilst David doesn't really fit, as you correctly point out, and I agree with you, he doesn't fit. Maybe there's a way to get, I mean, we could get David hormone therapy right now. Under the new provisions. So maybe what Dr. Shell, I just thought about this. We can get David because he's hormone sensitive. He now qualifies with hormone sensitive. He qualifies for Pluvicto. So maybe Dr. Shmulewicz says, okay, we won't treat him like we're treating, say, Ben Nathanson. We'll just treat him with 2 sessions, and then we'll zap him, and then let's see how he does see if he responds the same way. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, this is really
I understand.
medicine.
I understand what you're saying, and I've read those trials, and I guess the proof is in the pudding with regard to, if you're shooting at something you can't see, will in the long run, I mean, we do that with androgen deprivation therapy in conjunction with external beam. We don't see it, but you're also kind of bundling radiation with ADT for more effective radiation. This is going out into the far ether, and it's great sounding, but I'm just have a little trepidation.
Listen, I find it amazing, Dr. Paul, amazing that you are so open-minded after all these years and absorbing all of this stuff. God bless you, because the majority of the doctors that we run across who are of your generation, they don't even want to hear about this rubbish.
Some people just don't fossilize.
What?
Some people just don't fossilize when they get older.
What do you say, Dr. Jack? What do you say?
Having gone through the experience as a urologist, as prominent as Dr. Paul is, I think is a different learning experience than being just a pure academic. And I think his openness and flexibility and creativity is unlike that of the average healer who hasn't been so wounded.
There's another thing. It seems like you're tossing around this, get a shot at treatment into Pluvicto, like there's no side effects or no long range risk. Is that something we know? It's just safe to just go off?
Well, the toxicity in this trial was very, very low, Larry.
I know.
Take a look at the trial.
Yeah, no, I was reading it. I mean, I don't remember how many people or exactly who they took in the trial and all those parameters. But
it was small, and I pointed that out. It was a small trial. I pointed that out.
Yeah. Run around with serious medications, and what does it mean? I mean, to repeat these trials and to rush off and start getting shots of Pluvicto, it scares me a little.
Well, I think that you have to leave that up to the individual patient and the individual doctor. If it doesn't scare the patient and it doesn't scare the doctor, it works. If it scares the patient, you don't do it. If it scares the doctor, he's not willing to do it.
Watch a few people have the dinner and then see how they get sick from the food before I run.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. I encourage everybody here because I think that's an ANCAN thing. So let's do it and let's see what happens to those people. And then we'll go.
No. I mean, we're not encouraging people to do this. What we're doing is we are laying out what has been done. We are laying out what the possibilities are. We're not advising people to do it. We're telling people this might be worth discussing with your doctor because there's good reason, because there's been some phase 1, phase 2 trials. That's a whole different thing from this is an ANCAN thing and ANCAN's telling you to do it. Absolutely not.
I know. It's early days. We're pushing the envelope. We always are pushing the envelope because we want to live and we want to get to a durable remission cure situation. All of us.
Right.
That's where this looks like to me. It's like we're pushing at that and looking at studies, considering it, discussing it, but there's risk.
Okay, I'm going to finish up there. I think Larry has found some common ground for us. Sounded a small note of caution, making sure that we're not going off half-cocked. And Rick has shown us also that being innovative and on the cutting edge sometimes, oftentimes, results in longer lives. So
Don, you're the best wrap-upper.
I'm going to finish up for tonight for everybody. It's been a pleasure. And we'll see. We got a group next week?
We do have a group. I just want to tell Barbara and Joe, because I saw them come in late. This meeting on a Tuesday starts at 2 hours earlier, Barbara. You're muted right now, but the Tuesday meetings start at 3 o'clock Pacific. The Monday meetings start at 5 o'clock Pacific.
Is it okay if I put a question in an email to you, Rick? You don't have to answer it. I just need to get some questions out before the next session. Is that okay to do that?
I got to be honest with you, I prefer not. I just don't have the bandwidth to do individual navigation. I just don't. That's why I say to people, come into the meeting and read the reminders. I really ask you to do that.
Oh, okay. No, that's
okay.
Fine.
I mean, if I get the email, I'll respond to it. But please, this is the whole point of ANCAN is these meetings are free. They're drop-in. But we can only tell you when they start. We can't get you to observe, and it happens a lot. You're not the first person by far. There are other people who are a little more generous with their time, but they're not running the whole of ANCAN. So, which is 35 meetings a month now and 13 different conditions. So prostate cancer isn't my only bag.
Good
Okay.
for you, Rick. Good for you, Rick.
All
We don't
right.
want
I
you to
mean, we
burn
are
out.
happy to help you.
Yeah.
The next meeting will be the 1st, next Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving and everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.